Hi, welcome to my channel Cloud with Girish. If you follow reInvent 2024, you likely notice that generative AI ML was one of the hottest topics. In addition to Amazon Bedrock and SageMaker, there were numerous sessions dedicated to Amazon Q. According to the session catalog, around 100 sessions, including breakout sessions, were conducted covering topics such as Amazon Q Business, Amazon Q Developer, and Amazon Q QuickSight. In this video, let's see two examples of how Amazon Q can help. In first example, I will use Amazon Q to ask questions about AWS account resources, like how many EC2 in the account, or how many APIs in the account, how many S3 bucket, etc. In the second example, I will show how Amazon Q can help with code documentation or even with some code refactor. Prerequisite for this workshop is familiarity with the AWS Management Console, a basic understanding of Amazon Q, access to VS Code IDE with the AWS Toolkit installed, a basic knowledge of Python programming. Let's get started. We're going to look at what is Amazon Q, and then in the first example, we will use Amazon Q as the assistant for account questions. And in the second example, we will use Amazon Q Developer as the assistant to document the code or refactor. So let's look at what is Amazon Q. Amazon Q is a generative AI assistant designed to enhance efficiency across various domains, similar to other GenAI technology. It provides valuable support for businesses by streamlining knowledge management, automating repetitive tasks, and assisting professionals across diverse roles. Let's see, here is how Amazon Q can help. Business users, they can use Amazon Q to simplify the knowledge management and automate routine tasks. Data engineer, they can use Amazon Q for data analysis and insight generation. Call center and supply chain associate, they can use Amazon Q for domain-specific tasks. There is a call center specific service, AWS Connect, and Amazon Q can integrate with AWS Connect to even further enhance the experience to provide an optimized customer service. Developer and software engineer, Amazon Q Developer integrate with IDE to enhance the productivity, and it offers many features. And some of the examples are code documentation, the review, the unit test generation, code refactoring and optimization. It's like your self-peer sort of peer review kind of assistant that you can ask Amazon Q Developer to review your code for you. Amazon Q is available in several specialized variants to suit different business use cases. Amazon Business Q, Developer Q, Q for Connect, Q for QuickSight, and more. So in this video, I will demonstrate example of Amazon Q for AWS account and Amazon Q Developer for VS Code. Just to clarify, I mean, it's not a product like Amazon Q for AWS account. It's just Amazon Q ability to look at your AWS account and provide you answer to the questions. So it's come pre-configured. You just have to accept the terms and condition, and it should be all configured and ready to go. So Amazon Q can, let's look at the first example. So first example is like, look at the account related question. So Amazon Q can become your go-to assistant for account related question and can save you valuable time. So you can get the same information through other reports. You can log into console, you can log in, you can look at your buckets, you can look at your API gateway, you can look at other resources. But Amazon Q just simplify the process by providing quick at a glance insight at your fingerprints whenever you need them. So few examples of question you can ask. You can say, hey, how many EC2 instances are running? How many APIs are deployed? How many S3 buckets are there? What's my average monthly cost? And then many other questions. Let's look at an example. So first, to engage Amazon Q in your account, like I said, Amazon Q is already there. You will see this icon there. So you just click here, accept the condition, and it should be ready to go. And then you provide a prompt. So in this example, I am asking the queue that how many S3 bucket do I have? This is my prompt. And then Amazon Q is looking into my account and pretty quickly actually is providing me that, hey, based on the analysis, I have like 11 S3 resources, basically 11 3 bucket that I have. So this is the response I got, and really, like, it's like my assistant. I'm asking the question and I'm getting the response back without like making 6 click myself to look at the resources. Let's look at another prompt here, and this time I'm saying, hey, I want to check my average cost over the last 3 months. And again, this is my prompt, and then Amazon Q is providing a breakdown, and this is just part of like the result that I'm showing here, like in a summary level. So it's saying, hey, your average cost in last 3 months is this much, and by the way, this is how I'm driving this cost. This is the date range I'm using. Here is like the monthly level and the metrics and what I'm excluding. And also it also actually had like more information, which I'm not showing. It was in the JSON format, so I can click and look at like some more data here. So this is like how Amazon Q for AWS account, just a very simple overview of how we can use it. Next, I want to show you how Amazon Q developer can act your assistance for code related tasks. So let's look at like, what is Amazon Q developer. So this is another variant of Amazon Q. It's named as Amazon Q developer. It's a GenAI powered assistant that can be embedded in your IDE, such as VS Code. I use it with VS Code. You can use it for other IDE as well. I have seen that there is a plugin for Eclipse also. So I use Python, so VS Code works perfectly for me. So when your Amazon Q developer is used in the IDE, it can provide recommendation to optimize the code. It can refactor the code. It can generate comments and doc for the code, and can also scan the code for security vulnerability. So here is my example code snippet, right? It's not like a complete running program of like 100 lines. It's just one if block that I'm using for one of my GenAI application, where I'm checking the parameter that I pass to the Bedrock service using the Lambda. So here I'm just checking that, hey, what's my model ID and what's the temperature and what's max token count that I want to pass it to the LLM using Bedrock and so on. So you will see that I have it like in a very simplified way. I have like if and else kind of situation. So I'm going to pass this. If you see here, right, I can actually right click in my IDE and I will see Amazon Q, and then these are all different functions that I can ask. So here I'm going to ask that, hey, I want to refactor this code section. So I'm going to say refactor, and then Amazon Q gonna analyze it, and it's providing me a refactor recommendation which simplify this code block by creating a function. So I don't have that many if else kind of block, but it has been like encapsulated in a function. And then it's also not only is giving me the refactored code, but it's also giving me an example of like how to use this code in the code, so in my code. So here you will see it saying, hey, use this way basically, right? So important point to note here is that while Amazon Q provided the recommended code, it's not automatically replacing my code with the generated code. As a developer, if I am the developer, I retain the final control and can select that if recommended code should be inserted or rejected. Or I can look at the code and I may decide to use part of the recommendation and not the entire recommendation. So all of those controls remains with the developer, and it's not that it's replacing the code. Let's look at the second example. So In 2024, Amazon Q also introduced inline chat feature. So it allows you to add prompt directly within the code at the cursor. So rather than doing right click and then selecting one of the function, I can simply wherever I am in my code, I can do that and say, hey, command I, and then it will bring me the inline chat window, and I can say, hey, review the selected code and suggest improvement. And if you look at here in the green, it's suggesting me the improvement over what I had. And as a developer, I have the option to either accept the recommendation or reject it. So I still maintain the control, but it's just adding the convenience of without going right click, then look at the function. I can simply just do it like in chat command. Same way, let's look at another feature where I can do the inline chat to document the code by adding command. So here in this example, same thing, I'm doing a command I, and then I'm saying, hey, please add command to explain this code block. And if you notice here in the green, Amazon Q developer is actually know my code, is adding the command. It's saying, hey, this code block is to get the model ID from the environment variable and validate that it is set. And see, that's exactly what my code is doing. And same thing, like it's adding for the remaining code, that get and validate temperature parameter must be an integer value. So it's adding that command in my code block, which is pretty neat, because as you know, I'm sure you have seen code thousands of lines with no comment. Now, if you are a good developer, eventually you will figure out by following the code trail that what this code is doing. But really, like many times, 1 or 2 lines of comment go a long way, right? To help a peer developer who may look at the code down the road to fix a bug or even enhance a functionality. So very useful feature, really excellent use case for generative AI assistant like Amazon Q developer to adding the comments in the code. And again, these are recommendations provided by Amazon Q developer, and these recommendations either can be accepted or rejected by the developer. So GenAI based solutions are here to stay as they continue to revolutionize technology's impact on businesses. Implementing these solutions with appropriate guardrail enable businesses to optimize repetitive tasks and enhance customer service. Amazon Q is one such GenAI tool catering to both business SME and technical SME with the feature tailored to their specific need. So there are so many use cases. Like another example will be that business user can leverage Amazon Q to interact with policy document, while engineer can use it for code optimization, review, and documentation assistance. As these solutions advance, I remain committed to exploring their potential and sharing valuable insight with you. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm constantly working on new content covering various AWS topics, so please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the Cloud with Girish channel. Your support helps me continue creating valuable AWS tutorial and workshop. Stay tuned for more exciting content. Thank you.